You are now experiencing the digital life with Kevin Lockett.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Digital Life. On today's show, I talked to Ms. SportyPants from No Static Radio in Cleveland, Ohio. Now maybe it's me, but I think most local sports talk sucks. It's too much ranting and not enough facts to back up these rants. National radio actually is a little bit better. I'm a fan of Bomani Jones. He's a cool dude. And Dan Lebatard's alright. But most sports talk just isn't appealing to me. And more importantly, there are 2 sports talk stations in Cleveland and 1 sports talk station in Akron. And on these 3 stations, there's not 1 female host. Now you can't tell me that you can't find a female host who is just as good or better than most of these guys who are ranting and raving on the radio. Luckily, there are shows like ESPN, Spain and Prim, and Ms. SportyPants who gives you a female perspective when it comes to sports. And at times are more insightful and give you more facts than most of the guys do. So on today's show, I not only discuss Cavs, Browns, and Indians with Miss SportyPants, but we also discuss her love for crazy dance videos, being a mom of a young football player, and how you can combine minicamp and cuffing season. If you don't know what cuffing season is, Google it. So without further ado, here's my conversation with the very fun-loving Ms. SportyPants.
Okay, we're talking to Ms. SportyPants. How are you doing today?
I am doing wonderful, Kevin. How are you?
I am fine. You know, I guess it's a guilty pleasure of yours because I sent you one of these things. You have a love for people dancing crazy in videos. I mean,
yes.
Is that, yes. I mean, is that something that you do? You just stop in your tracks whenever you come across a video that you see someone just dancing like there's no tomorrow?
Kevin, something about those dancing videos does something for my spirit. Let me just say, I enjoy sports. You know, that's why my name is Miss SportyPants. So I am not the best dancer. You would think, you know, as a woman, you know, we can drop it down low, get to the flow. You know, we're in Cleveland, Ohio. You know, we do the dog like nothing, you know, nobody else's business but me.
Right.
No, my shoulder moves are fierce, and that's really all I got for the public. So when I see those dancing videos, I am just like energized beyond belief. I enjoy them a great deal. Continue to send them to me. They just do. I just love to see it. They just get out there and do their thing. They can't dance either, if you can see. You know, when you're watching them, do you think those folks can dance?
I don't know. Well, no, but it seems like they got more than shoulder. I mean, you said you have shoulder moves, but they're doing a lot of other stuff. Like in their heads, they probably feel like they're getting it. But to be honest, yeah,
they're like daredevils. You know, they just do what they just go with it. You know, they like Nike commercials. So just do it. They're just doing it. You know, I gotta respect it. I enjoy it.
So do you have an all-time favorite video that you like? That's like your go-to video if you're feeling down? This video kind of picks you up.
No, I really don't. I just welcome the new ones. I mean, even the old ones, you know, when they come across my news feed, I don't get them as often as I think I should. You know, I feel some kind of way about that. You know, I kind of keep my nose into the sports, and then outside of that, you know, those kind of things, they just take me out of my hookup. You know, they just pinch a different kind of nerve, and they give me a restful place. I can just laugh for a second, you know, and I enjoy them a great deal. But no, I really don't have a favorite one. I have some ones that are definitely lasting impressions in my mind. And do I go visit some places? Yes, often I do. But do I get a chance to see them as often as I like to? No, I don't.
And there's no videos of you just doing a fierce shoulder moves. I can't find those.
Kevin, if somebody's seeing them shoulder moves, they will have to get locked up. That is confidential. I mean, you gotta be a real close friend to see me break them shoulder moves out. That's a fierce move. People get out the way when I get People move. People get out the way when I break into that mode. They don't know what is happening. I'm just going with it. I understand.
I'm sure you do. Okay, so let's get into sports. So you have Miss SportyPants on No Static Radio. And how did it come about?
How did the show come about? Actually, Miss SportyPants was an online organization for quite some time. I've been in radio for 5 years, and I've been orchestrating under the Miss Sporty Pants name for maybe about 8 years. So 3 years online prior to, the radio show. And the radio show just came about. One day I was out at an event here in Cleveland, at a young professionals event, ran across another young lady who was also into sports radio. Her name was the First Lady of Sports. And she and I were friends on Facebook, and one of her co-hosts was actually going out of town, and she invited me on the show. I went. I enjoyed myself, had a great time. I left. They invited me back again for a second show. And after my second show, the show owners asked if I wanted my own show. So it just happened just that fast. Quick.
Yeah. So did you play sports as a kid, or you were just always into sports just as a watcher?
Yeah, I wasn't the girliest girl growing up. I was kind of what people would consider or can associate with the name maybe a tomboy. I did play sports, but I also was into ballet, tap dance, jazz dancing.
Wait a minute, hold on. Wait. You just said at the beginning of this interview that you do shoulder moves, but now you tell me that you know ballet. That's pretty good if you know how to do ballet, so that you can dance.
Oh my gosh, I used to. Haven't lost it all, I feel like. I mean, or maybe I'm just so self-conscious about it. I just I don't have it in me. I don't. It's just something I clam up. I just can't let it go. So when I see people doing it, I'm just like, you better go. I am just like their biggest cheerleader. I am like I'm like their biggest fan. I'm like, you better just get out there and do it, because I can't. So I guess it would be hard to do some tap dancing to Drake in the middle of the floor. I guess you can't dance tap dance. So. Yeah. No, I'm a little weak at it. My older age.
Okay. All right. So back to sports. So
yes.
The reason I like your show so much, I mean, it's more than a sports show, really, but because I'm getting a women's perspective on sports. And the one thing that I hate about Cleveland, and it's not just Cleveland, it's all over, is that you don't have ladies talking about sports. Like, we have 2 sports stations in Cleveland, 2. And you don't have one woman talking about sports at all, which is crazy.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. I mean, the unfortunate thing, it's like female barbers. It's like getting into sectors that are normally dominated by men. And a lot of the time, a lot of women, we feel kind of, I myself, before I actually got to know sports, I used to feel kind of intimidated around men, when watching sports. And a lot of times we're compared to, how much we know. But we have, as women, we have a time, when we take leisure time, it's in spurts, throughout the day. It's between us having to go to the hair salon, or taking the children to soccer practice, or picking up the husband's clothes from the laundromat, or anything of that nature. We take our leisure time in spurts. So a lot of the time, we just want to know what's hot. We want to know what's going on right now and who is the who's who at this moment. Because sometimes, like guys, you guys will follow guys ever since they were in college or from high school ball, or even when they were playing in the little leagues. I mean, you guys just kind of follow sports in that fashion. Some of us have the opportunity to do so, but, most of us don't. So when we are on the radio show, we're just going in about hot topics, things that are, a lot of off-the-field issues, things that are kind of pressing, issues for us at the moment. We've been talking quite a bit about the gun shootings here in Cleveland, Ohio. That's been a hot topic. Unfortunately, today, Johnny Manziel's house caught fire out in Texas, and they're ruling that, unfortunately, to be expire under suspicion or done in a suspicious fashion. So they're looking to bring out the canine to find out if arson was involved. So, those are the kind of things that we talk about on the Miss Sporty Pants Show. We talk about concussions, divorce, relationships. We talk about politics. We talk about racism. We talk about it all. Domestic violence. It's domestic violence. Us. We're trying to figure what happened with Ray Rice. Is anybody gonna pick up young Ray? Anybody?
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
I don't know, kind of. That's a heavy topic. So.
Well, that's why your show.
What we do.
Yeah, your show is kind of, to me, it's like a sports reality show because sports is in it, but it's wrapped around different things. And I haven't heard the show about concussions, but it is interesting because from a wife's point of view, I mean, you marry a guy, you might play in the NFL, and he gets concussed, and the vows are for better or for worse. But a lot of times, that's a lot of weight on someone's shoulders, and some women stay, but then there's a high divorce rate when these guys retire from sports because you have to start becoming more of a caretaker.
That's right. That's right. They said even now, my son was introduced to football at a young age, and it was in one of the neighborhood leagues, and he ended up I took off his helmet one evening. I picked him up, and he had 3 knots on his head up underneath his helmet. Because a lot of the times, they're constantly doing the hitting drills, they just throughout the whole practice, they're just getting hit, and it's just too much. It was too much for me. I had to have a conversation with my son about, when you become an older young man, once you know a little bit more about the sport, you don't mind being in those positions, taking on that kind of impact on your body, then you make those kind of decisions. But the wear and tear on a young man's body at those ages, I mean, they're starting their children off in football or these high-contact sports as early as 4 years old, 4 or 5 years old. And that kind of impact on and wear and tear on your body from the age of 4 all the way up into your 20s, your 30s, somewhere about in your mid-30s, you're kind of considered old to be in the NFL or even in the NBA. You're considered to be old. So it's like, gee whiz. I mean, I never thought 35 was old at all. That's mid-age, but in sporting realm, so that's why you want to just take your time, learn the sport of interest, kind of guide your children in that fashion as far as to, as adults, we kind of know what's going to happen in the long run. And I'm not saying don't expose your children, to, sports of their own interest. Definitely do so. But also be mindful and definitely attend those practices. You have to be there.
Yeah, I think kids are being pushed too hard anyway in all sports because there's so much money involved with sports. I think some parents, either consciously or subconsciously, are just pushing their kids really hard. I think some of these schools, some of these coaches are getting paid, so they want to keep their jobs, so they're pushing these kids really hard. And I think these kids are just getting injured a lot younger. And some of them might not realize their dream of being a professional, even though it's hard to do. They don't realize their dream because they might be burned out by the time they hit college or even after college.
Yeah, I mean, think about those athletes, who get injured during practice. Or those ones that get injured in high school, and never made it to the pros. But the injuries can be so severe that they can be lasting. Some of those injuries are just not hard to recover from. Or, you have to go through a lot of rehabilitation and, medical attention, and some of those, depending on what type of injury it is, of course. But, some of those injuries, they knock you right out of the game. And they can do that young, and opportunity lost. Everything that you worked for since you were a child is gone, So that's why a lot of people not only push athletics, but they also push the other side, which is education. If you can push education on the flip side, that's you want to give yourself an opportunity, to be able to thrive in the event that if you do have an injury and you are no longer able to be an athlete or, pursue your athletic career, then you have an option, which is to use your education to do something else. So. You just got to present opportunities,
Yeah. So you mentioned the shooting in Cleveland, or the shooting in Cleveland that's been going on. And you had a different take, you and the ladies in the locker room. You had a different take on LeBron's statement. He had a statement about gun control. And a lot of people kind of piggybacked on it, but you put a different spin on it, which really made me think a lot more deeper to what he says. Like, it's great that he said it. However, people got to start taking responsibility. And again, it's a lot of things involved too, is economics and all that stuff, but people do have to take more responsibility in their neighborhoods.
Definitely. LeBron, he's a young spokesperson. Unfortunately, a lot of the times it always comes on the debating table whether or not, athletes should be, held accountable for the statements that they make to the public, Sometimes they want those positions, sometimes they don't. The scope is always, on an athlete, and, any move that they make is always under scrutiny. So, as we know young LeBron is a wonderful athlete. He is one of the most famous athletes, in the United States, and, one of the greatest young players, according to his stats. He has a platform, he has a voice, and it's a great thing that he came home, to Cleveland, definitely bring us some media attention, possibly, help us improve in the, the economic department. But with that, comes a price. And that's the other side of the coin that, a lot of people like to push up under the table. But, every day we see something crazy happening in the news. Just here recently, a school transportation bus was carrying 2 young children, I believe, from the Cleveland School of the Arts. And someone opened fire on that transportation vehicle. It's rough. It's rough out here. In Ohio, sports is thriving. We are definitely pushing forward. We have Johnny Manziel. He has a reputation with him. Hopefully they'll allow him to get on the field sometime soon. If anyone's listening, please let Johnny play.
Let's talk about the Browns. Yeah, how do you feel about Mike Pettin and Ray Farmer? Do you think people can give them time? They just keep on, figure it out? Or do you think, they need to again fire somebody else?
You know what? I'm tired of the fire hire. I really am. I mean, as you know, we have switched the number one position is over, 30, 40 times? We're just switching quarterbacks like every single year. Every single year and a half, we're switching quarterbacks. As far as our coaching staff, I think at some point in time we need just to allow the players to get a flow, but at this time, we have Josh McCown. He's definitely in a leadership position. He's on and off, but Ohio is a sports town. We have some of the greatest fan base, I have ever witnessed, in the realm of sports. And I really appreciate being a fan in Cleveland. But we just want some wins, and whether it's management, whether it's, our number one position, we definitely don't want to hold on to garbage. So get rid of it, yes, but every single year, we're making bad decisions every single year. I have no understanding. So I'm at a loss, my friend, like everyone else. So
I noticed your enthusiasm just went down. you kept on talking about the Browns.
The more I talked about it, it was just like, maybe I need to stop right here.
Okay, well let's switch to the Cavs then. So how you feel about the Cavs?
I'm so excited about the Cavs. I really think we're going to walk away with the championship ring. Way to go, LeBron. He has been a leader for quite some time. We had definitely brought Mo Williams back into our squad. I'm glad that he has returned back to Cleveland. We're looking. Did you hear the latest rumor? Rumor has it. Allen Iverson might be coming back at 40. Now, they say 40 is the new 20. Don't trip. You have to hold on now, Kevin. What?
My hairline dictated I cannot have cornrows like AI. I love AI. I love AI when he was playing. Like I don't think Allen Iverson gets enough credit how great he was as a player for his size. However, his whole thing was about speed and quickness. And once that quickness went away, his game wasn't suited to take guys off the dribble. Like Jordan was able to, as his game kind of went more grounded, he was kind of like, okay, I'll become a jump shooter. AI, whose whole thing was still trying to double cross you at 34, at 35, and it wasn't there. As much as I love Allen, and I love Allen.
I love Allen too.
But I can't. He can't compete because now he's going. I can't see Allen go up against Steph Curry. It's not gonna be good. It wouldn't be good.
Anybody going up against young Steph Curry is not gonna be good.
And then you said young Steph Curry. Yeah.
Yeah, he was shooting threes in people's eye. He was knocking people's eyeballs out. It was unbelievable. That young man. I mean, his accuracy is phenomenal. I mean, I love to watch him play. I was mad, they won and had the whole little celebration thing on our floor. Do you know how that felt as a Cavaliers fan? Like, did you have on my best shoes? I know, if you see somebody who didn't ask to borrow your stuff and they were walking around in it and they look good, and you like, wait a minute. I know you don't have on my shoes or my jacket, and you didn't ask to put it on. That's how we felt about them being on our court receiving the ring. Yeah. You're in our house, on our court, wearing our best attire. We cannot have that happen again. Next year, we're going to be good. We're all right. The end.
Do you think the Indians get a free pass in Cleveland? Because I think the GMs always get a free pass, and the managers get a free pass. Like, people are ready to get rid of, like, the Browns guys already. And then the Cavs are disappointed, but expect to win. So it's almost like with the Indians, like, oh, well, we'll be there next year. It's like, no. Why don't you get on this team like you get on everybody else?
At one point in time, I mean, weren't we getting closer to the World Series? I mean, it was maybe about a good 3 years ago. But I mean, we have a good streak, with the Indians. It kind of energizes the city. I mean, gee whiz. I mean, the midday games are crazy in Ohio. You're not going to appreciate that. It's a great time, I mean, baseball seems like it just lasts for so long. It's like it lasts for 3 seasons, it seems like it goes through. It seems like they have baseball, then it goes into, like, basketball and football season. So I'm just like, there's so many games with baseball. It's a great sport, but, they definitely say it's a patience man game. How much patience we can have with that management team. They do get a pass, though. They just skate up under the radar. Nobody ever points the fingers at the Indians, ever.
I do.
Ever. Do you?
I do, because I don't think it's right. Like these dudes, like Mark Shapiro goes from GM. Mark Shapiro is a GM, hasn't won anything. He goes up to president. Then he gets another job at Toronto. Then Chris Antonetti is a GM, doesn't win anything. He gets moved up to president. How do they get better jobs by not winning?
Who is these guys just getting away with murder?
That's what they're doing.
Held accountable.
Yeah, the third season of How to Get Away. Yeah, I know you don't watch TV. Because How to Get Away with Murder, the Cleveland Indians. That should be the third season of that show.
I don't watch TV. You're right.
I know.
So repetitive, my friend.
No, it's good. We're complete opposites because I'm like a TV junkie, but I try to watch. Yeah, I love TV, but I mean, I try to be. Yeah, but I read too. I'm well rounded, but I've always been a TV guy. But I watch a lot of different things. So I watch Kevin Smiley and Charlie Rose, but then I watch like Fresh Off the Boat, or I'm watching. I I just started watching Empire a little bit. It's just a big soap opera, but I like soap operas.
Uh-huh.
So, but I watch a lot of TV, but I kind of balance it by just doing other stuff. The problem is most people just watch TV, and that's
right.
it.
That's
and
it.
I think that's you got to do something else. Like you just can't watch TV, or if you do watch TV, there's a lot of good things that you can watch that's educational. You can kind of throw in a History Channel, or throw in a cooking thing. Just do something that you're actually stimulating your mind, where you can maybe start doing something or learning something. But I think most people just sit in front of TV and just.
I like watching sports on TV.
Right.
It's fairly interactive. The dramas, the Empire shows, things of that nature, they are fairly interactive, fairly.
Mm-hmm.
But what, if I'm watching sports on TV, it's okay for me to yell at the boob tube.
Mm-hmm.
I can yell at the TV and it's okay. If I'm watching Empire or any of those other shows, what other shows are out there, if I'm watching it and I'm just yelling at the TV, somebody will look at you like you're really weird.
Right.
So, you get a pass. If you're having a bad day, and sports is on, and you turn it on and you just yell at the TV, that's a nice playoff. People really don't know that you had a bad day.
I know.
You can use sports as a scapegoat. It's kind of you get two purposes for entertainment. Some people are betting on the game. Who knows? I don't bet at all. At all. My money is scared. I don't do it. Do you bet?
No, I don't bet. No, I used to play fantasy football, but I stopped doing it because I didn't enjoy the game. Like I was more concerned about. Yeah, I couldn't enjoy it. The game that I was watching. I couldn't enjoy it because I'm always looking at who's scoring where, or I need this person to score. Like I'm not enjoying the game of football.
You got to keep up with those points.
Yeah.
The whole point system, huh?
Yeah, and then after the game, you jump on the computer to try to pick up. Let's say someone scored a bunch of points, and you try to pick that person up on the waiver wire because you never know when to pick them up. It was too much. And at the end of the day, I still finished like $2,000,002. I didn't win anything.
Oh, no.
So why bother? Why go through all this stuff? Well, yeah, because recently I think with DraftKings, one of those places, one of the employees won a bunch of money, and you can't do that.
Okay.
So it's almost like it felt like inside trading. So it's almost like it's like because I always felt like who's actually winning these fantasy leagues and making all this money? Because I know it's not me.
Unbelievable. What was the year when Warren Buffett wanted to donate $1 million for a winner or something like that? It was maybe a couple of years ago.
Yeah, Dan Gilbert. I think Dan Gilbert had that with his Quicken Loans.
Did he?
Quicken Loans had it. Yeah, he had that.
Okay. Somebody was doing that, and they were going to offer somebody a whole lot of money if they chose the winning team.
It was for the
football league.
I think it was for the Final Four.
For the Final
Four.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Right, but outside of that, I don't know who's getting those opportunities. Who does that?
I don't know. It's not me.
Not me either. I never win. And when you hate losing, you have to choose a different team. Like, even though we love the Cleveland Browns so much, we never win. So I have to pick up a couple of other teams, that might go the distance. Like I go with the New York Giants and the Seattle Seahawks. So I like the feeling of being a winner, more than I like that loser feeling. It's like wah wah wah.
No, wait a minute. Because you're a Clevelander through and through. But then I hear on one of your shows you mentioned that were you born in Louisiana or?
Oh no, that's where my roots are from, Louisiana, from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. My grandparents and and I only address that half of the time is because the way the people always want to address my appearance, as far as the way I look. They always want to say, "Oh, you're mixed or something." I'm like, no way. No way. I'm all the way African American. That's brown. I'm black. Yeah.
So what types of apps do you use?
I don't.
What?
Yeah, Heaven, you wouldn't believe I am not the most techiest person, or is that the right way to say that, or not as computer savvy as I would like to be. I struggle with it, and it's ironic because I had to recently begin producing my own show. So it's been a challenge.
So how's it a challenge?
Bullets. I'm sweating bullets half the time. You know, when I'm on there, I'm on the switchboard, I'm like, okay, Zara, you got to get in the game. You know, you just get out there and do your best, you know, and leave it all on the field. So that's what I do. So you're a host and an engineer on your own show, huh? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Wow. That's not easy. I mean, for anyone who doesn't know, I mean, it's not like you have like a podcast. I mean, this is like you're in a studio with a board, and if you're a person and you're not used to hosting a radio show and operating a board, that is not an easy thing to do. But I don't think people really. Well, you guys talk a lot anyway, but I think so. It's not like you have a lot of commercials. So I think. I mean, it's good. It's good content, but I think it's actually good. Yeah. Yeah, you're fine. I think if you start getting more sponsors, I think that might be an issue. But right now, it's cool. You have like one break in 2 hours. It's not bad. Yeah, it's it's the ladies' locker room. You know, that's where, you know, we just have those moments where we just kind of go in on the chatty side. And, you know, on the radio show itself, you know, of course, I'm the one that's normally bringing up, you know, the sporting issues. But, you know, in the ladies' locker room, that's kind of where we let our hair down. And we'll go back and forth about some of the craziest things. And we just have a great time with it. So, you know, yeah, you know, when we have a hot topic, yeah, it can go to one of those shows where we have very little breaks. So we're working on that, Kevin. No, it's good. It's like it's not like it's all right. The one thing I do like about here's the thing. The one thing I do like about your show is that especially when you guys start talking about relationships, or ladies start talking about relationships, it's fair. It's not like you take the lady side. Like sometimes you hear shows that's like always the women's side. But it's almost like it's very balanced. You look at both sides. And it's not like you're saying, well, we need to look at the guy side. It's like, no, during the course of your conversation, it's fair, and it's actually refreshing as a guy to hear women talk about men and women, and it's straight down the middle. That's kind of cool. You know, I mean, what happens a lot of the times, you know, as a woman show, you know, a lot of people feel like a woman show would be a typical male bashing session, you know, and they become very uninterested in it or very intimidated by that by itself. You know, when you see a lot of women in the room, and the man walks in and it gets quiet, you know, it's like, oh, the elephant has walked in, and, you know, he'll just slowly turn around and walk back out. Right. Maybe I shouldn't be here. But in the ladies' locker room, we really appreciate the testosterone. We love the balance, you know, the yin and the yang between men and women. You know, it's great. You know, we don't know everything. You know, men don't always know everything. We love the balance, you know, all the way around. And, you know, as women, you know, because it's our forum, you know, and it's our, you know, we're talking about sports from our perspective. It's one of those things, too, where we have to be completely honest with ourselves. And there's a certain level of responsibility that comes with that. So as we are, you know, discussing certain topics and issues, you know, it's cool, you know, to point the finger at somebody else and say, oh, we need to fix this and we need to fix that. But, you know, we can only be responsible for ourselves first, you know, and a lot of those times, you know, those are the things that we need to address within, you know, and then hopefully, you know, we can acknowledge that and move forward. And that's how we continue to build the relationships, you know, all the way, you know, all the way up the board between men and women. I mean, we love men in the ladies' locker room. It's always a great time, always. It is a pretty good time. It's a great time.
It is a great time. So if people want to hear this great show and hear about great topics, relationships, sports, where can they go?
They can actually log on to nostaticradio_.com. Every Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m., the Miss SportyPants Show is what the show is called. We are giving you a softer side of sports is our slogan, and we in the ladies' locker room, we keep it hot, hot, hot. Always call in to 216-939-5087. Thanks for letting me go there, Tara. I appreciate that.
You're fine. I do have one last thing.
Yes.
If you would have told me, I don't know, a month ago, that I would hear a conversation that involved cupping season, mini camp, a waterbed, and earthworm game, I would say, I'm not sure how this would all work together. But it did. I now associate mini camps and cupping season and waterbed. Earthworm game I have to work on, but that's a whole different discussion.
That was one of my favorite shows. Cupping season. I appreciate you talking to me about that. I'm glad we were able to pull it around, and keep it in its perspective. It worked, though. Thank you. I appreciate that.
It did, because when you start talking about mini camp, I was like, mini camp? How are we going to get the cupping season in mini camp? He's like, oh, yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah, it's rough out here.
It is rough. Is it rough? Oh, wait a minute, I wouldn't think it'd be that rough for you. I would think, sports.
Oh, my gosh.
It should be a little bit easier. Or maybe it's harder. I don't know.
It could be a little bit harder. At some point in time, a lot of guys, they feel like when we are discussing sports or they even learn that I enjoy sports, they want to go straight to the stats and facts. It's who won the Super Bowl in 1986, and I'm looking like, are you serious? I'm like, well, I have no clue. And then it's, oh, you don't know anything about sports? You know nothing. And that's where we break up.
Is that the real? How many sacks did LT have in 1984? That's pretty petty.
Like that, bruh. It's that simple. That's where we break up. We're no longer in love. Yeah.
It's I guess because I grew up, my mom loved sports and my grandmother loved sports, so I just always grew up with women who like sports. So it's like it was never a big thing for me. So I guess I never felt that challenge of saying, well, what did Albert Bell hit in 1998? No, he wasn't here. Like 1994. It's like I don't know those stats. Like if I don't know these stats, how would I expect the woman I care about to have know these stats? It's dumb.
I don't know. It's just that whole competitive thing. For women that are interested in sports, we come from various angles. It could be the fact that we're interested because our children are interested in the sport. We're interested in it because a mate played at one point in time. I was a young athlete at one point in time. I like the uniforms. Oh, that's my favorite player. He is attractive, so I'm going to watch him play at this time, at this hour, every single Sunday, Monday, or Thursday. We have various reasons why we engage in sports. We have our own reasons, and they're not always for competitive reasons. So because of that, that's a huge difference between men and women. Men, it's like, oh, he has got to win. He has just got to win, and it's all about winning in the end. Yes, that is true. But, there's some different aspects to sports that, women like to pick at. And that's kind of why we take our time to do so on the Miss SportyPants Show.
Well, fellas in Cleveland, get it together. You got a woman who loves sports. Come on, get it together. Fellas.
I don't know. They don't like it like that all the time, Kev. It's weird. It is. It's really weird. And what's even more weird is that as women, we thought or we think that all guys like sports, and that's not the case. Yeah, we didn't know that.
No, like I love sports.
We did not know that.
Well, yeah, I love sports. I follow sports. I watch it all. I even like soccer. But if I have to sit there and watch a game the whole way through, I get kind of bored. So because I'm a TV guy, I might buy like a Cavs game. Like I love the Cavs, right? But if the Flash is on, I'm watching the Flash. And I'll come back to the Cavs in the fourth quarter. Like I love sports, but I don't love sports enough where I have to watch the complete game. Like I don't need to do that, but I do. I love it, but I'm not obsessed. Like I think too often when it comes to sports, people are just too obsessed. Like it's their life, and it's like you can't make it your life. You can love it,
Absolutely
you can embrace it, you can root, but you can't be so tied up in it that it's gonna. Like,
for guys, the world stops.
Yeah.
For this season right here, the world stops, and a lot of the time, for women, who are in relationships and they don't enjoy sports. I'm talking about the woman doesn't enjoy sports.
Yeah.
The gentleman, this is the worst time for relationships. The worst time for relationships.
Mm.
Women, guys feel like the women are nagging. That, the sports are on, but at one point in time, every Sunday, you guys maybe went out to lunch. Now, the games are on, and you're no longer going out to lunch. So now women have to shift into a different mode of finding other things to, pique their interest or other activities to get involved in while their mate, is in front of the TV yelling and screaming, eating those nacho chips and tacos and hot buffalo wings and Coca-Colas and some brews. Yeah, it's a great time.
Maybe my cupping season is this time of year. Find all the lonely women who the men just want to eat nachos and watch sports.
You might be right.
I might be right. I might have a new plan.
Yeah, right.
Thank you, Miss SportyPants. You gave me some ideas.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with me. Now I got to tell the ladies about you. Watch out for people like Mr. Lockett.
Yeah, watch out for guys from Akron who all of a sudden starts becoming your friend.
You know what? You are too fun. You are too fun. On your next visit in Cleveland, definitely come and hang out with us in the locker room. We would love to have you.
Yeah, I'll do it. Just let me know.
Will do. That's it. Is that a plan?
That is a plan.
All right. We gonna pinky swear on it. We don't bet, so we're not gonna bet on it.
We're not gonna bet.
We gonna pinky swear on it.
We will pinky swear on that.
All right. You got good business. Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you, Miss SportyPants.
Thank you for having me, Kevin. It's been a great time. I appreciate you, and the energy's been wonderful. I hear great things about your show. Thank you. I enjoyed myself a great deal.
And I enjoy your show. I hope everybody else also tune in on No Static Radio for the Miss SportyPants radio show.
Definitely. Giving you a softer side of sports. Goodbye, Kevin. Talk to you soon, my friend.
I want to thank Ms. SportyPants for being a great guest on the Digital Life. Make sure you check out her show on Saturdays on NoStaticRadio.com. That's NoStaticRadio.com. And you can listen to past shows on Mixlr. That's MixLR.com. On today's Musical Spotlight, we featured a jazz version of Drake's Hot Like Bling, performed by One in the Studio. You can hear the full version on One in the Studio's YouTube channel. That's number 1, letter N, the studio. One in the studio. All right, everybody. It's the Digital Life. I'm Kevin Lockett, and I'm out.